Hey guys, OldSkoolBrian here. Part 3 of my Q&A, 500 subs. If you haven't watched the two parts, the two first parts, make sure to check them out. You could also watch the subscriber video, but I think I'll have one more video, and I'll do one more answering the questions, and after that the contest will be over, and I'll make a separate video drawing the name out of the hat of who wins the boxed NES. Alright, so we're going to get right back into it. Next question comes from Nintendo Love 27. Number 1, how many games do you own? Honestly, I never counted. I'd say somewhere around 1,000, maybe a little bit more. I'm not sure exactly. I could be way off. But I've never had the need to count them. I counted my systems for this Q&A. I counted my controllers for a contest I did a while back. But it's almost impossible for me to count the games because you see I got so many behind me. And that's not even everything. I got them games inside the box systems. I got games all over the house. Next question. Favorite box system you own? It's a toss-up. The Vectrix, of course. My NES action set. My Sega Saturn. I really like them all. I've never even thought about picking a favorite. I was real happy when I got my Sega Saturn, my Sega CD, and the Vectrix. But I think the NES action set, because of the condition I have them in, I don't think it gets much better than that. Next question comes from Boredom Gamer. Number 1, what do you think of the modern generation of games with the lack of new games and repeats of FPSs and old bestseller games and new graphics? Personally, I don't mind it. I think that, if that's what works for them, that's what works for them. As they keep remaking games and stuff like that, they don't seem to be losing interest or, ever tanking, they're always selling and stuff like that. And, I buy them, so I think it's great. Number 2, what is your favorite soundtrack from Chrono Trigger OST? Now, I really had to think about this question. And a lot of people probably aren't even going to know any of the answers I give. But I like The Hidden Truth, and I like The Kingdom Trial. There's a couple others I really like. Some of them I couldn't really remember the names to. But those are two that really stick out. But that whole game's filled with awesome. The whole soundtrack to that game is amazing. Next question, Super Nintendo 64. Number 1. Most hated game of all time. I've answered 100 times. Missed. Number 2. What is your favorite gaming YouTuber to watch? I couldn't even give you a favorite, man. I watch so many of them. I did a shout out a long time ago, all big name guys and stuff like that, because I never really took the chance to watch everybody else. And since I've been, you guys subscribe to me and stuff like that, I really try to take my time and look at all the videos on YouTube. And if I was have to pick up a favorite right now, I probably couldn't even do it. But a couple of the guys that I watch, consistently every day, I wait for these guys to put out videos. Is Sinestastic, of course. Finn Gamer, I've always been a huge fan of his videos. Happy Console Gamer. Luke Morse puts out tons of videos, and I just love seeing the whole culture of Japan and stuff like that, not just the video game stuff. And Big Tune 82, I love his videos too. If you haven't checked out Big Tune 82, make sure to do so. He makes awesome videos, but his editing skills and stuff like that's amazing. You don't see too many people on YouTube that does what he does with his videos. It really stands out, and I really enjoy his videos and look out for him every day. Next question comes from Joe Palmer 123, which I recently just did a trade with. Number 1, what is the rarest game item you almost got but couldn't have it? Earthbound. I found a website that was doing auctions, and it was like a church website, and they were selling games, and they still consistently sell games. But they had a lot, and it had 1 or 2 Earthbounds, 1 or 2 Chrono Triggers, Secret of Mana, Secret Evermore, Mario RPG, all the games that are worth some money. And it was probably about 20 or so of them, and it went real cheap, and I forgot to bid on it and messed up. And, I still kick myself in the ass over it now, because the price that it went for is the price of an Earthbound. And the lot had 2 of them and 2 Chrono Triggers, and it was just there was like 20 games that were high price games in the lot, and it went for very cheap. All right, next question. Coolest video game you would love to own in an arcade machine? I'm not sure, but probably Gauntlet for the NES. All right, next question. Monkey Bread 2010. What is the most awesome garage sale find you've come across? I did a video on it. It was one of my first videos. I went to this lady's house. She had a bunch of stuff. I agreed to buy it. Just by chance, asked her if she had any more. She brought me into this shed, and it had tons of games boxed. A whole bookshelf filled with Sega Saturn games or Sega CD games. And some of the stuff was worth some good money, so I was very happy with that pickup. And I got it very cheap. I think I paid like 10 or 15 bucks for it. And it was like probably like a garbage bag, full garbage bag of stuff, at least. Number 2, most hated game, missed. Next question comes from Tiny Mech. Number 1, what is the hardest NES game you've played that you still find difficult? I haven't even thought about this, but you know what? I've been playing it's neither Castlon or Milan's Secret Castle that's been kicking my ass, man. And every time I put it in there, it's I can't seem to get anywhere with it. So that would be one. Number 2, how much do you feel your collection is worth? If I had to estimate, I'd say probably everything in here and other rooms in my house that I have, I'd say probably around actual value, collector value, probably like 15,000, maybe more. Next questions come from Chug a Cold Beer, awesome YouTube name. Number 1, what's the most you paid for a single game? I've went over this before. $60. I've never paid more than, basically the new releases. Everything that I buy from garage sales, flea markets, Craigslist, places where I get it cheap, and I usually buy it from people that don't know what it's worth, so I get it really cheap. Every once in a while, I'll buy, older collector looking to get rid of his collection. I'll buy his entire collection from him. So I'll pay a bit more, but usually I pay 10 to 20% of the value of the actual game. Number 2, what's your opinion of clown gaming versus owning a hard copy, carts, discs, etc.? I'm not into it. I looked it up, I looked it over. I'm not really into it. I guess like some people might be into it, but most people that I've talked to aren't really feeling it. So same with me. The real thing is always the best. I don't really get into any of that other stuff. Next questions comes from, I don't know, Chuck Nut Suck or Sack or something. Number 1, first video game you bought growing up. First video game that I bought, I couldn't really remember, but the first video game I got was Mario Brothers. Number 2, have you ever found anything good the first time you walked into a Goodwill thrift store? Yeah. I've found plenty of good stuff at Goodwill stores, thrift shops. The key is when you go to a Goodwill shop or a thrift shop is you want to go to one that, doesn't have an online selling where they could sell stuff, because usually they'll pull all the stuff that's worth more money and they'll sell it online. 2, once you go into a Goodwill shop or a thrift shop, maybe 2-3 times, and you notice they don't have anything, chances are they have somebody in the back that knows about video games and stuff like that, and they're pulling the stuff as soon as it comes in, and they're selling it off immediately. In my area, I know all the stores that do that, so I just stay clear from them. Only thing you're going to find at those places is really crappy sports games, and that's about it, because they got somebody in the back that, as soon as it comes in, they're pushing to the side, they're buying it, whatever they're doing, they're taking it. Alright. Next question comes from John Feld. Number 1, how old were you when you started collecting? I say maybe like 10 years old when I started to, but I didn't really get into collecting until I was in my 20s. Number 2, what system did you have growing up? I had an NES and a SNES. Next question comes from Agent Sleepy. Have you gone GameStop dumpster diving yet? No, I'm scared I'm going to get arrested if I do it. For you guys that don't know, check out Agent Sleepy. It's spelled just how I said it. He actually gets tons of stuff out of GameStop, dumpsters. And it's really cool, the stuff he picks up. Number 2, are you going to get Gears of War 3? I'd say I probably am, yeah. Next question comes from Scratchmaster Webby. Number 1, do you think Sega should make a new console? Yeah. 2, name your top 3 movies. Off the top of my head, Boondock Saints is one of my favorite movies. Goodfellas is one of my favorite movies. And Green Street Hooligans is one of my favorite movies. It actually has the guy from Sons of Anarchy in it. It's a really cool movie. The problem is I can't find it anywhere. I think eventually I'm just going to end up buying it off of Amazon if I can find it on Amazon. I tried to buy it at a couple Blockbusters that went out of business, but they didn't have it. So I've only saw it maybe once or twice, but it's definitely one of my favorite movies, and I'm definitely looking to pick it up. Alright. Next question. The Frugal Gamer. Number 1, how many hours per week would you estimate you spend gaming? I'd say 15 to 20 hours a week. I game in awkward hours. I mean, I'll be up, if I'm going to work at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, I'll get up 5 and get some time in. So I get, time in wherever I can. So I'd say 15 to 20. 2, earliest gaming memory. Earliest gaming memory I have is probably playing Super Mario on Nintendo with my little brother. He was real little when we had gotten it, and he used to think the controller was like a Wii controller. Hold the controller, and he's got to move Mario, and his whole body moves going like this. So that was very funny. Next question comes from the Hemisi. Number 1, what's your rarest game? The most expensive if you decide to sell it. I say the box Chrono Trigger would be my rarest game. Number 2, game most dear to your heart. Probably Zelda for the NES. Next question from 49er Nation 1. Number 1, which do you like more, paper or plastic? And why? Paper, because everything fits so much better, and I can use it to start a fire in my fireplace. Next question, 2. Which do you find, which is better, crunchy or creamy peanut butter, and why? Creamy, I don't know why. I don't like the crunchy peanut butter. You try to spread it on bread and it tears the bread up and stuff. I was never a fan of it. Number 3, which suits, I just spit all over my mouth. Which suits your fancy, chicken or steak, and why? Chicken, you can never go wrong with chicken. Steak's got the fat on it, stuff like that. Chicken, don't really matter what you do to it, it's going to taste good. Next question comes from the Super Nintendo. Most underrated game I played. Most underrated game I played was probably Dynamite Heat for the Genesis. I really like that game. It's like a puzzle platform game, and I think it was underrated. It didn't do too good, but I thought it was a really awesome game. Number 2, thoughts on the online system, which is basically like the cloud gaming. Will you get it? Do you like it? I won't get it. I do think it's a cool idea, but with the way the 360 is now and the PS3 and stuff like that, I just can't see them really thriving with this idea. I think it's something that should have probably been done 10 years ago. I personally, out of my friends that I play with and stuff like that, I don't know anybody that's going to get it. So I don't know how good it's going to do, to be honest. But I won't be picking it up. I like real copies, I like hard copies of everything. So that's it. Next question from Twerp. Number 1, what item in your collection has the most sentimental value to you? Most sentimental value would probably be my box Super Nintendo, only because it was my wife's box Super Nintendo, and if it's not the most sentimental thing in my collection, she probably won't let me collect nothing. Number 2, do you collect anything other than video games? If so, what? Yeah, like I said before, the old medicine bottles, like the glass ones that they made, military items, patches, any kind of memorabilia. I like antiques. I got very old antique scales, 150 years old, and the Franklin Mint series, the books, the binding. I really like them. So that's some of the stuff I collect. All right, let's do a couple more. Next question, Mr. Gamer Maniacs. Number 1, what's the most expensive, rarest game in your collection? Chrono Trigger. How many years have you been collecting games? I don't know, 10 to 15. Next question, Luna Mystic. Number 1. One game you can never part with and why? Probably Zelda, and I've said it 100 times. I just never get bored playing with it. It's one of the games that you can play over and over and over. It's just, I really like it. I mean, I literally played the game over and over and over, beat it, and then, go back and play it again. One game you cannot stand to play and why? Myst. I hate it. If you ever played it, if you haven't played it, give it a shot, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the most annoying game in the world. Next question comes from Galahi. Number 1, what's your favorite gaming franchise? I don't know. Mega Man, Zelda, Call of Duty. I mean, there's a bunch of them. I really couldn't even pick a favorite, to be honest. If you could bring back any dead franchise, what would it be and why? I really don't. When I game and I play games, I'm not really worried about any of that. I really don't even pay attention, to be honest. So I thought about it, and I tried to think of an answer, and I really couldn't even think of any type of answer, to be honest with you. Next question comes from Danny7305. Number 1, favorite handheld console. Again, I really couldn't even answer the question. I'm not even into the handheld consoles. I think if I had to pick a favorite, it wouldn't even be based on playing. It would just be based on looks, and that would be like, the yellow Pokemon, Game Boy, or one of the Hello Kitty Game Boys, something like that. I like all those type of Japanese type ones, but that's it. No, let's see. Favorite gaming series from any console? Again, Mega Man, Zelda, Call of Duty, any one of them, to be honest with you. I don't even have a favorite. Next question comes from 941 Asland. That might be coming out bad. Number 1, place you'd recommend buying retro games. Amazon, digitpress.com. You can go into their forums and you usually find people that are selling some good stuff. It's mostly collectors. And then, I'll recommend it even though I don't use it, but eBay. I mean, everybody's right that does use it. I have my own personal issues with them. But you can pick up tons of stuff on there for, a decent price. Favorite place to shop for retro video games. I really don't go anywhere and shop, not like a retro game shop. But, same thing. Goodwill shops, thrift stores, places like that. That's where I pick all my stuff up at. Next question comes from 07 Shep. Number 1, what inspired you to start collecting retro games? Nothing, really. Number 2, best place to buy retro games in current. Online, same as what I just said before, same places. Next question comes from one of my favorite YouTubers, Sinestastic. Number 1, if you had to sell your collection and keep one system in games, which system would it be and why? Probably the Super Nintendo I would keep, only because, as you know, you're a Super Nintendo fan. They got great RPGs, a lot of other great games, and I don't even mind playing some of the sports games on there. So that would probably be the one I would keep. Number 2, ever a point where you questioned why you were collecting because you had been buying too much stuff? No, I've never gotten to that point yet. I've never gotten to that point yet. Number 3, favorite Call of Duty game so far and why? I don't have a favorite, but some of my favorites would be Call of Duty 3, Modern Warfare, and then of course Black Ops. Modern Warfare 2, I don't think they did too good. World at War, I don't think they did too good. Call of Duty 3 was to me, it was an awesome game. The only problem was the server was you're always lagging. and you know, they would try to fix it and never could fix it, and they never fixed the glitches so you can go onto the map and kill everybody. It was the only thing that was a pain. I'd love to see you know, the next Call of Duty that comes out where they do it back then, when they, you know, those early wars and stuff. I would like to see them bring back some of the Call of Duty 3 maps. I've been waiting for that for, you know, forever. They've brought some maps to newer games, but not the ones you know, that I was interested in. Number 4, first system you were able to buy for yourself growing up, and probably be a 360. I probably bought systems earlier than that from garage sales and yard sales when I was younger. I remember buying a Master System and stuff like that, but yeah, I probably bought like a Master System. I just can't even remember. It was so long ago. Before I really got into collecting, when when I was a kid riding my bike, I would stop at a garage sale. If I saw a system, something that looked cool, video games, you know, I just, you know, picked it up if it was like $5 or something. So that would be it. And we'll do one more from Svink. Number 1, how does your wife or girlfriend feel about you collecting video games? She likes it, man. She's a gamer herself. A lot of the Wii games that you see that I pick up, that's her. She plays them. She beats games, and she's been gaming with me since Call of Duty 3. I remember her coming in the room, and she would have a sniper rifle sitting in the middle of the field picking off people. And when I played back then, I played in the clan, and we were a very well ranked clan. And at one point, you know, she would come in when we're practicing and stuff like that, and she would play, and she did good. She held her own, so she's definitely a gamer, and you know, she's definitely into it. Number 2, how much have you spent on your entire collection? How much do you feel it's worth? Like I said before, I think I spent maybe a few grand. Definitely probably less than 3,000-4,000. And it's probably worth about 15 grand. And that's it. Looks like we're gonna have maybe 1 or 2 more parts of this Q&A before it's done. Then we will do the drawing for the NES. And I got a lot of pickups I got to show you guys. I'm just getting behind. Make sure you check out my unboxing today of whatever it was called, Dead Island. And that's it. I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching.